Breaking news tonight, 12-year-old Charlie Bothuell has been found safe moments ago in the basement of his own home.
He had been missing for 11 days and police had feared a possible homicide. Fox 2's Amy Lang is live right now with Detroit Police Chief James Craig. Amy?
Well, I'm going to let him tell you exactly what happened. Listen in.
And he appeared to be hiding back there, or you say he could not have erected this little hiding place by himself?
In my judgment, based on what was described, I didn't see what it looked like prior to my arrival, but there's no way he could have erected this makeshift area of concealment, I'll call it. He certainly was excited to see us. I had a chance to actually talk and embrace Charlie. Very excited to see us. I mean, this is a great story.
It really is a great story, because just earlier today, you folks said that you had not ruled out that he could be a victim of a homicide. So what does this mean in terms of the investigation? Are the parents now being questioned? What's happening next?
Well, what it means is, first of all, let me just applaud the work of the investigators. We had a collaborative, the FBI, state police, DPD, all working together diligently, very thorough. And this was, in fact, the fourth time we've been to this location. And one of our visits, we came with a cadaver dog. So we're not certain that Charlie was here doing those visits, not certain at all. Because the question I would have, how could we miss? Certainly we know when there's a missing and we go into a family home, we check places that children can hide. Sometimes if children are afraid, they will hide and conceal themselves. But for whatever reason, I don't know what it looked like the first several visits, but certainly this time the detective who was in that area thought something was strange and began to moving, and Charlie didn't alert his presence.
It was only when you found him.
It was only, and you could see that he was nervous but excited and glad to see the police.
Describe his condition. What was his condition? Like, did he look like he was hungry or what?
Well, he indicated he was hungry. Certainly, I saw evidence that there was food around the area where he was hiding. But he seemed to be both nervous and excited. In terms of his medical condition, he's being medically evaluated now. So I don't know what the doctors are going to find during that examination, but he appeared fine when I saw him.
And Chief,
what about his parents?
You're live on Local 4. Talk about that moment when the investigators came in contact with Charlie. How did he respond? What did he say?
Excitement. I don't know his exact words. I guess you could describe it as nervousness, excitement. He made some statements that I wasn't there then, but certainly lots of excitement to see us.
What are the parents?
Talk about the parents.
Yes,
the parents know.
His parents aren't here right now, correct?
That's correct.
The father told us he was going to go and do an interview with Nancy Grace a little while ago. The mother, once we told her that you guys were looking into the possibility of a homicide, the stepmother, I should say, she took off. Is there any reason to believe that some adult had to know Charlie was in that house?
I will tell you, we're not ruling that out. It would be hard for me to sit here and tell you that someone didn't know that Charlie was there. But I can't say definitively.
Chief, you described this area that was barricaded that even looked like someone had put food there. You said Charlie could not have erected this barricade himself.
There's no way, in my judgment, I can't see how he could have. We're talking about a 5-gallon drum. We're talking about a 12-year-old child. Certainly, I don't see how he could have done it.
Describe the environment where he was at.
He was in the basement. Certainly there was some bedding. It appeared to be some kind of wooden, looked like a wooden stand that was nearby the area where Charlie was at. And then the drum, by the time I arrived at the location, the drum had been moved by the investigators.
And you all don't believe that he had been there the entire time? Because you all searched this, but police searched this home several times.
Four times.
But today, that's when you all found the barricade in the basement.
But we're not certain that he was there each and every time. As I pointed out, I think what's telling is that we had a cadaver dog go into the location. And
the cadaver dog found nothing?
Found nothing.
Chief, for people that are just tuning in right now, kind of bring everybody up to speed on what happened. We know that 12-year-old Charlie, who's been missing for a week and a half, has been found alive in the very basement of the house where he was last seen here. Bring everybody up to speed.
Charlie's alive. Charlie's excited, and we're excited. We're as excited as Charlie. In fact, Charlie wanted to meet me, and I promised Charlie that once he gets through this part of the ordeal, he's gonna visit the chief's office.
Did you notify
and tell where he's found,
Chief?
where he was found.
Have the parents been notified?
I can't go into the notification. I'm not certain. I came here for one specific reason. I wanted to see, and I wanted to touch Charlie.
And he was
Does it
hiding
appear
in the
that
basement
Charlie
in
has been a
area that was,
victim
like,
of abuse?
barricaded.
I'm sorry.
He was hiding in the basement, but not in a way where you think he could have done it himself.
That's my judgment, my opinion, based on what I saw, but I can't be sure. I mean, we're talking about a 5-gallon drum, and so not certain.
But Chief, based on what you saw, does he appear to be a victim of abuse? Was he bruised? Was he?
I didn't examine Charlie. That's the medical professionals will do that. Certainly, he was talkative. He was excited. I didn't do an examination, so I can't.
Chief, since finding Charlie, have you had a chance to have a conversation with his parents about you finding him? Do they know?
I have not. And I am not certain that the investigators, they may have made contact with the parents. I would hope that the father, who is now doing a show on Nancy Grace, that someone would interrupt the show and advise him that the location you just left, your home, your son was downstairs.
And the mom has disappeared. Do you not find this a little odd?
I find a lot of things odd, but, my opinion doesn't count at this point. But the one thing I will say, I'm excited that Charlie is alive.
Chief, we know the biological mother has never been considered a person of interest in this case. We're talking about Charlie lives in that house with his dad and his stepmother. What happens with them at this point? Where do your investigators go with them when they actually return to the house?
It depends. Certainly, if we, through the course of our investigation, determine that there's evidence of child abuse, and our investigation will take a turn in that direction. But at this point, there's a process that must be followed, and certainly the Wayne County prosecutor is directly involved in this. And so once that process is completed, we'll know if any charges will be filed against either or both custodial parents.
Chief, there's been so much bad news lately. You're still in the process of looking for the children of Alicia Fox. How good does this feel to find this child?
I'm excited. This is probably one of the best days. Most times when I have an opportunity to talk to you good people, it's not always good news, but certainly.
Here's Dad.
Chief, this is the father.
Your reaction
Did you know
to
that
your
he was
son
in the
being
basement?
found?
Man, no, I didn't know that he was in the basement. I searched, my wife searched. We've had dozens of police officers, FBI agents here, dogs. We've all been searching for my son. So any intimation that I knew that he was in there somehow, it's absurd. Literally, I couldn't find him. If the FBI couldn't find him and the Detroit police couldn't find him, for anybody to intimate, they did finally, yeah. They've been living in my house for the last 10, 11 days.
Have
They've
you
been
looked in
here.
your basement?
We looked in my basement. I looked in my basement. They looked. They went down there with search dogs. My wife looked
When was the
before she
last time
called
you
me.
looked? When was the last time you looked for your son down there?
The last time I looked for my son down there was a few days ago, before the FBI did, before they
haven't been
came
down
with the
there
dogs. No, I've been in the basement, but
Has he ever hidden in the
describe boxes
in the
and
basement before?
containers.
Has he ever hidden down there before?
no, he hasn't.
We heard that your ex-wife may have been hiding him down there from you and feeding him.
That's absurd. And my ex-wife did not take off. The FBI or the task force was here executing a search warrant. They forced my wife to leave. I was here. You guys were here. They stated we could not be in the house while the search was being executed. That was a decision of law enforcement, not the decision of my wife.
How surprised are you that he was found in the basement?
I'm shocked because I looked, like I said, the Detroit police looked, the FBI looked repeatedly. They've been through here. They've been in my house until 3 in the morning on occasions and all night. When that lieutenant kept me and my family at the police station from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The Detroit police and the task force were here all night executing search warrants. So to say that, for anybody to imply that I somehow knew that my son was in the basement, it's absurd and it's wrong. I love my son. I'm glad that he's home and he's going to have the great future that he deserves to have.
Well, no one
When we talked to you earlier today, there was deeper concern perhaps about a homicide.
Yeah, man, you broke my heart with that, man.
But tell me about your range of emotions based on what the police were
Man, they thought my son was dead, man.
Have you seen your son yet?
No, I haven't.
Do you know where he is?
Where's your wife? Where's your wife at right now?
No, I don't.
Where's
My
your
wife,
wife?
she left. They wouldn't let her in the house. But I want to see my son.
All right, and you are watching the father of Charlie Bothuell, 12-year-old Charlie, his father, Charlie IV, obviously overcome with emotion at the news that his son has been found. Charlie was just at a studio recording a segment for the Nancy Grace Show, pleading for his son's safe return. He had told us all along he believed that his son was alive. This day has been a crazy range of emotions, with the chief telling us earlier that he actually thought the child may have been a victim of homicide. Take a look.
Yes, I believe my son is alive and I want him home. Period. Full stop.
A father focused on finding his son, 12-year-old Charlie Bothuell, has been missing since June 14th, when he allegedly left his home on Nicolette Place after refusing to finish his workout and his chores. His stepmother, Monique Dillard Bothuell, allegedly threatened to tell his father, so 12-year-old Charlie took off.
We've gotten a number of tips, leads, and certainly we've gotten evidence in this investigation that suggests that this is more than just a serious missing. So I can tell you we're not ruling out the possibility of homicide, but we're still treating this case as a serious missing.
Here's the deal. My 12-year-old son has been missing. This is serious. He needs some intervention at this point. He needs a whole lot of help at this point. Absolutely.
Can you tell people, you and your wife, his stepmother,
no knowledge that my son was in that basement. And I don't know that he was in that basement the whole time. How could me, my wife, the Detroit police, the FBI, and all of these task force who have lived in my house,
did he have the means to get it out of here? Did he have a key to the house?
He was eating. It was implied that perhaps that your current wife might have been keeping him down there and hiding him perhaps from you.
That is absurd.
does your ex-wife
that is
access?
absurd.
Did she say that she's told you point blank that she does not know where he is?
Yes, she has. Period. My wife wouldn't do that.
Would you have noticed would you have noticed any disturbing of the property? I mean, you would have noticed he was coming in and out, wouldn't you?
I can think I would have, but I would think that I would have noticed that he had a Twitter account that I didn't know about, which the FBI told me, and some additional money that they found. So, I mean, as a parent, you do everything you can to keep as close a track on your children as you can.
Did he have a key? Could he have gone in and out?
We had extra keys around. I mean, so it's possible. We have extra keys.
Are any of them missing at this point? Have you looked at that?
That hadn't crossed my mind.
A lot of people were talking earlier about the whole lie detector situation. Your wife declined to take one with Detroit police. You said yes to the FBI.
The FBI did not ask my wife. Agent Scott Willer, Special Agent Scott Willer, after I declined to take the lie detector with the Detroit police because of the way the lieutenant treated me and my family, the agent said, well, okay, what about with the FBI? And I said, yes, absolutely, because I didn't do anything to my son, and I believe my son is going to be found safe and alive, and I want him home.
Did your wife volunteer? Did she consider volunteering for the FBI examination?
The FBI didn't ask her. If the FBI would have asked her, I don't see why my wife wouldn't have. But to be clear, the FBI asked me and not her.
But if you were looking to divert attention, why not volunteer her?
But listen, the FBI, obviously the focus was on me, and even today I got a call from the reporters and even from you guys saying that they're looking at this as possibly, you know what I'm saying, a homicide case. The focus was on me, and that's why they asked me, and I wanted to clear it up, point blank. If the agent would have asked my wife to take a polygraph test, she would have had no reason not to, because my wife didn't do anything to my son, just like I've been saying that I didn't.
And you guys are both still willing, in the aftermath of everything that's happened here, you're both willing to take polygraphs with the FBI now to show that you had no knowledge. I
want to take it with the media, because the FBI doesn't release that kind of information, and I want this information out to the public. period. I want my name cleared and my family name clear, and I want my family to be able to go forward. So I'm asking you, the media, to get the retired FBI, CIA agents, however you guys do it, because I want the truth out to the public.
But Charlie, they said that it looked like there was a barricade that someone had to have constructed.
You know, yeah,
he would have needed help to construct
Like
it.
Charlie couldn't have
You
done
know
that on
what?
his own. It looked like maybe there was some food placed
And you can
back
go down and
there.
look at it. I mean, it was a big 5-gallon drum. Do you think your son's big enough to lift that?
Listen, have you seen the pictures of my son? My son, and where exactly he was found? What were the subjects? Was he in the drum?
No, he was behind the container. But they said he was.
Okay, we have all kinds of stuff.
Crouched behind the container.
You know what? After disappearing like that, I'm sure he would be nervous. I mean, of course. I mean, why would he not be nervous? Simple as that.
How soon will you be able to see your son?
That's gonna be up to Police Chief Craig and these other folks, I'm supposing, and I hope they don't leave before I get a chance to ask him or talk with him, because I want to talk with him. So my son, he's obviously gonna need some counseling. He still needs to get his education. He needs to move forward with his life. So I'm gonna do everything that I can to help my son get his life back on track, which is what I've been doing right along.
The evidence that was already taken out of that house.
And see, evidence is implying that we did something wrong, just like people were accusing me of being a murder. It's only evidence if there was some crime committed. No crime committed here. That's not what happened.
Had there been any other sort of abuse? There was blood evidence that was taken out of that house.
Yeah. There was no abuse of my son. There was no, they said that there was evidence of a murder. That was nonsense then, and it's nonsense now.
What do you think Charlie's going to tell him? What do you think his explanation is going to be? You know your son.
Would there be any blood evidence from a
I know my son to a certain extent, but I can tell you, I can't say what my son is going to say to them, and I don't want to do any more guessing. There's been guessing about me being a murderer, actually being a murderer. I'm a nurse. I take care of people for a living. That's what I do. And I take care of my son, which is what I've done his whole life. So I don't want to do any more guessing. I want to get to the facts, which is why I asked the media to do a lie detector test so that we can get to the facts. That's why this has been the focus, my whole focus through all of this. That's why I agreed with the FBI agents when they asked me. They said, okay, let's get to it. That's why I agree with the FBI agents, and that's why I'm asking the media right now still, hey, let's do a polygraph so we can put it out, all of these questions and innuendo about us.
Charlie ever said, I'm going to hide, I'm going to run away, and can you actually see him being able to do this?
Charlie ran away before.
But just for a few hours?
Well, he was found within a few hours. He was found within a few hours. So, what his intention, was there, I mean, I can't say. But you know what? Right now, I'm happy that my son is home, and I want to catch the chief and the other.
Okay, go ahead.
Are they leaving?
Go ahead.
I want to catch them before they leave. I want to catch them before they leave.
As well.
All right.
All right, you see that is Charlie Bothuell, the father of the 12-year-old who's been missing since the 14th. Today, Chief Craig had a press conference saying that they're expanding their search and their investigation, believing that there may have been physical and circumstantial evidence that maybe a homicide had been committed. So that was where we were left. We came over here, we talked to Charlie, the father, earlier today. He was terribly disturbed to hear that information. He was on his way to shoot an episode or a segment for Nancy Grace, pleading for the safe return of his son. While he was gone, Chief Craig arrived here and came out with this phenomenal news that you've heard him talking about and heard the dad talking about, that Charlie had been found. He was in the basement, hiding, crouched behind a big drum, like a 5-gallon drum, some boxes. It appeared that he had been barricaded back there. Chief Craig said he did not believe that the child had the strength or could have done that on his own. However, the father totally disagrees with that, says there's absolutely no way that he or his wife knew that this child was down there. It's not clear how long the child had been down there, if he had left and come back. So many unanswered questions. But right now, the amazing news, the terrific news, and really the stunning news that Charlie is alive and well and okay and found hiding in his family's basement.
Well, Amy, as we know, too often these types of stories do not have a happy ending, and we are also relieved that Charlie is alive and that he is safe, and that we will get all of these other questions answered as this investigation continues. I want to just have you recap a couple of things. We heard a mention of blood evidence that was taken away from this scene. What can you tell us about that?
Well, police would not elaborate on that. They said earlier today that they had evidence, circumstantial evidence and physical evidence that led them to believe that they might be dealing with more than a serious missing, that they might have evidence of a homicide. Clearly, they did not. What they ended up finding when they executed another search warrant at this home was something very strange in the basement, a sort of a barricade that they went, what's going on with this? They started moving things around, they say, and that's where they found Charlie crouched down, hiding, nervous, hungry, but they said there appeared to be food there, as if someone had put the food there. The father adamant that neither he nor his wife, the stepmother, knew that the child was there. But we are hearing from police that they have a lot of investigating to do. There are a lot of questions to be answered. Right now, Charlie has been whisked off to receive medical treatment. The chief said he could not tell if there was any evidence of abuse. Again, the father adamant neither he nor his wife, the stepmother, Monique, had anything to do with any abuse of this child. He says he cares about his son. He's ecstatic that he's alive after this horrible news earlier today that this might be a homicide investigation. So this is certainly a tremendous turn of events and an emotional roller coaster, so to speak.
What is the young boy telling police? Do we know what he told the police chief? We know that James Craig actually met with this young man earlier today.
Yes, he did. The chief came over here because he was getting reports that, oh my goodness, they had found this child. And so he wanted to see for himself. He went down there. He was not the initial investigator, he said, to bond with the child. Someone else had already done that from the team that was inside executing that search warrant. And we can tell you there were a number of investigators here executing that search warrant. So once he had been found, the chief came over here to see for himself. He met with Charlie. He gave Charlie a hug. He promised Charlie a trip to the police department to see the chief's office once he was well. But right now he will not discuss what Charlie told them. He said the kid appeared to be hungry, said he was hungry, but would not say anything else about what he had been up to, where he had been, how long he had been in any one location. The chief would not disclose that information.
What can you tell us about the stepmom? I understand from when we were listening to Charlie's dad speaking with reporters there that that it appears that the stepmom, his wife, is not on the scene there. Where is she? Do we know that?
I can tell you exactly. Sure, I can tell you what happened with that because I was actually here while that was going on. And they were executing the search warrant. She got home from taking her autistic child to therapy. She got out of the car, her autistic child, her baby. So she has a 4-year-old and then a 10-month-old. She had both the children. She went inside. Police at that point told her that she couldn't be there. They were executing a search warrant. She came out. She went for a walk with the children. She had the children in a stroller. We spoke to her at that point. She said all they did was want Charlie home. We told her about police at that time saying that this was expanding into a bigger investigation, that they were not ruling out homicide. She nearly doubled over, couldn't talk to us, absolutely devastated, and carried on with her walk. That was the last time we saw her. Shortly thereafter, the father came out. He said, my wife is calling me. She says that you're saying that this could be a homicide investigation. We said, yes, we've just come from an interview, a press conference with the chief, and he's telling us that they're not ruling this out, but this is a serious missing. He proceeds to tell us, look, I'm going to shoot this Nancy Grace segment. My son is alive. I know my son is alive, and I've taken a lie detector test to prove that I had nothing to do with it. I want to clear the air, etc., etc. Father leaves. Short time later, here comes Chief Craig. He says, I got to go inside. I'm hoping to have something for you within minutes. He went in. He came out a short time later. He said, I'm smiling. Do you know why I'm smiling? Because Charlie is alive.
Well, Amy, it's important, too, that in our rush to find the truth, that we not indict the parents here. Just as police were wrong about this being a homicide,
yes,
they may be wrong about some other suppositions in this case as well. The bottom line, the good news is this young boy has been found alive.
Absolutely. That's incredible news, and there's a lot of people who police need to talk to, and they need to flesh it all out, obviously, and determine just what happened, just where this child was during all this time. But I agree. I think it's absolutely premature to pin this on the parents or anything of that nature. Obviously, that information will come out as this investigation continues. The good news, this child is alive and well, and we couldn't ask for any better news than that.
Yeah, prayers answered, that is for sure. All right, Amy, we know you will be checking back with us in the next few minutes as we continue through the newscast. But again, terrific news. 12-year-old Charlie Bothuell has been found safe and alive.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.